Hello everybody, Jason here once again with Just Saying with Jason, and tonight I'm going to get right into it because I've only got a 20-minute span on these videos. I don't know why. I'm sorry I don't have any big flashy production numbers, yada yada, but as in all my videos, I just want to get straight to it, just you and me talking. Alright, can we do that? So I want to discuss, I've had a lot of people ask me, Jason, how would you fix, because I'm a big Star Wars fan, Batman fan, you know, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, they asked me over and over, I've had many people over the years ask me, what would you do to fix The Last Jedi? Because I absolutely did not like what they did in The Last Jedi to the Star Wars continuity. So, I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan like the billions of others, you know, that are out there, and I have my own opinions, my own ideas on it. If you like this and you like what I say, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Good comments, bad comments. I'm not here to debate anybody about whether they liked The Last Jedi or they didn't. I did not. That's me. If you disagree and you love it, great. I'm so happy for you. But I did not. In fact, I felt like it broke a lot of the mythos of, you know, and a lot of things that I thought were just no-brainers as a Star Wars fan. I guess it's not. So there's a couple things that I want to go over and a couple things that I would change, and you tell me if you like them or not. If you think, yeah, this would be great changes, you know, I've been great, you know, we're on the same page. If you don't and you like it just how it is, that's great too. Say, hey, no, man, I love your ideas, but I'd keep everything the same. Great, you know. So getting right into it, Star Wars The Last Jedi was in theaters December 15th, 2017. It follows the events of the movie The Force Awakens, which was episode 7. We're talking about episode 8, but I want to talk about episode 7 real quick. So there has been, ever since, really, there's been talk about the main character, Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, that she was a Mary Sue, that this character was written as a Mary Sue. And as it was written, I would tend to agree, and I know that's somebody's going to be triggered, I know, but don't get triggered, not just yet. There's a way to fix it, and there is a way to fix it. So if you're familiar with the Force at all, if you're familiar with the old canons, etc., you know, just old extra stories, whether it be just stuff that was fan fiction and stuff like that, but there was a part in the Force in episode 3, actually, it was talked about that Yoda was using battle meditation. Okay, which is the light side force power. And battle meditation basically boosts morale, etc., etc. Now, in The Last Jedi, they really went far off. You had, you know, people projecting here and there, and you have people snatching jewelry, and, you know, Kylo. Anyway, so I want to take that idea of new force powers and expand on it, but in a way that's still respectful to George Lucas's original vision of the Force and how he used to do things, which was not make it magic, but rather, you know, something that was an energy field. So, you know, something that, you know, bind the universe and all of us together. So, Rey's abilities can be fixed very simply in The Force Awakens by having respect to Luke Skywalker. I think a lot of things that people were bothered by The Last Jedi was just the absolute disrespect of the character of Luke Skywalker. For 30-some years, almost 40 years, I guess it was, you know, everybody who was a Luke Skywalker fan, a Star Wars fan, wanted to see the original 3 back on the big screen together. We never got that. Of course, the untimely passing of Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul. But, you know, Rey's abilities can be fixed. Let's start with this. How was she able to use the Jedi mind trick on a stormtrooper successfully? After just hearing, just understanding about the Force. It's a good question. How is she able to beat a trained Sith without being a Mary Sue with no training? Excellent question. How is she able to pull Anakin, let's say Anakin's lightsaber, Luke Skywalker's, you know, in the original trilogy, his lightsaber before the green, how was she able to pull that lightsaber away from the hands of a trained Sith like Kylo Ren? Wonderful question. How was she able to do all these things? Well, it really comes down to really a very simple explanation. Luke Skywalker on the planet Octo, which is known to enhance the powers of a light side wielder, right? Strong, the planet is strong itself. The planet itself, they say, was strong with the light side of the Force, okay? If that's the case, he's over there using battle meditation, a form of it. I want to expand. Remember, we want to expand on what already is that they've put without going too far off the beaten path of what they did. So he's used to, and that's the first thing you find out in The Last Jedi. How was Rey able to do all these incredible things using, pulling all these things that I named prior. Sorry guys, it's late. Anyway, how was she able to do that? Very simply. From the planet Octo, across the galaxy, Luke Skywalker, as a Grand Master Jedi. That's important. Respecting the mythos. Okay? Respecting the past, not killing it and getting rid of it. Respect. Being a Grand Master Jedi on a planet that enhances light side, is very strong with the light side of the Force. He's able to sense out and help, in fact, give aid to Rey and her character. And that's how she was able to do these things. That's why it felt like second nature, because a Grand Master Jedi was helping her, and that power was, not only enabled, but strengthened through the planet Octo, which is strong on the light side of the Force. So, battle meditation expanded. That's how you fix the Mary Sue problem in The Force Awakens for the character Rey. All of a sudden, she becomes a character where, wow, Luke was helping even though he had no lines and really no scenes except the ending in The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, by the way, may I say, is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I went to the theaters 3 times. I've never done that with any movie. I went there 3 times to see that same movie just to get a glimpse of Luke Skywalker at the end. So that should tell you when they were going down that direction of, assassinate the character Luke Skywalker, that was always going to be a big bust. So for people who are fans of Luke Skywalker. Now that doesn't mean that if you don't like Luke Skywalker and you're happy what they did with his character, you're not a Star Wars fan. That's not what I say. So, moving on. When she first sees Luke Skywalker, we were expecting more than a cheap throwaway of the that you don't build up everything and then come in. When Rian Johnson directed this and he had the full blessing of Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know what either of them were thinking. But right then was the time to reveal that Luke was helping Rey in The Force Awakens. And right then was the time to give back the lightsaber and say, hello, Rey, I've been expecting you. We have a lot of training to do and, whatever, a lot to catch up on. Something Grand Mastery sounding, okay? With him expecting her, it means that he knew her struggle. He knew her story. We didn't have to have time to catch up on everything. He would have already known and felt it in the Force when Han Solo was murdered at the hands of his own son. He would have already known these things. So these things would not have to be, he would have already dealt with, the grief, off screen. We could have still seen it. But, it would have been better for him and his mindset to be set on the coming events in the battle ahead. Speaking of the battle ahead, okay, why is he on Octo? Why is he secluded? Why is the ship down there? Well, he's in hiding. He's in hiding. He's in a solitude, solitary, whatever confinement, whatever you want to call it. But why? Well, there was a failure at the temple. Okay, we can keep the events of Luke wanting to murder his own nephew, right? But we have to change it in a way where it makes sense and is still true and respectful to his character. How do we do that? Well, it's very simple. Once again, we have Force projections in this, right? Rey and Kylo are doing it all the time. Of course, we find out it's Snoke. So 2 things have to change in order for this to make a continuity sense, in order to make it all come together in harmony. 1, Snoke needed to be Darth Plagueis the Wise. This would connect episodes 1 through 3 with episodes 7, 8, and 9. What happened? Well, in fact, you could change the story to say that the Emperor, or Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, did not actually kill his master. He thought he murdered him, but he didn't. Okay? He wound up surviving. And as a true Sith Lord Master, okay, a Sith Lord, excuse me, he hid in the shadows while the Empire grew, because obviously that was the plan of Darth Plagueis. You could have said that was their plan all along. They collaborated together and was going to make an empire together to crush the Jedi, right? But since Plagueis was supposedly dead and the Emperor felt like he was dead, he hid in the shadows like a Sith Lord would until the opportune moment to seize power for himself. Now, obviously wanting revenge on his young apprentice who tried to destroy him, right? Now that that apprentice is dead at the hands of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, and the Death Star destroyed, the Empire scattered to pieces, Snoke would have been Darth Plagueis the Wise, and that would have made sense. That's why in The Force Awakens he says, you know, the Supreme Snoke. He said Snoke. I forget what they call him. Supreme Leader. That's what it was. The Supreme Leader is wise. It's Darth Plagueis the Wise, in fact. Okay, so, you know, now that we have who Snoke could have been, let's go into why would Luke Skywalker want to murder his own nephew? Why would he do this? Well, it's very simple. When he ignited the lightsaber, Ben Kenobi, who becomes Kylo Ren, believes that he was going to strike at him, sensing the dark side in him. That's just lazy and dumb writing, period. Sorry, guys. I mean that with all disrespect. I know you guys were probably trying. I can't say whether you were or weren't. But that's lazy writing, and it's awful. It's awful to the character of Luke Skywalker. What do? The whole thing of Ben Kenobi going to the dark side of the Force is built on a misunderstanding. Ben believed that Luke was going to kill him. Luke, it should have been revealed towards the end of The Last Jedi, and by the way, Luke should not have been killed off or died or battle meditated to death, whatever it was that you want to call that garbage. Luke should have been raising his lightsaber because Snoke, who is now known as Plagueis, we would now know that that's Darth Plagueis, was over his head. When Luke walked in, he didn't see Ben Kenobi and felt the dark side. What was happening is he went like this and raised his lightsaber because he saw Darth Plagueis whispering in the ear of Ben Kenobi. So everything that happened afterwards, the destruction of the temple, that's why he said, no, Ben, you know. But Ben didn't listen. All he saw was his uncle getting ready to strike at him, to try and kill him in cold blood. So he pulled the whole temple down, kills everybody, goes full-fledged into the dark side of the Force. All on a misunderstanding. Now that would have been absolutely better by infinitely than what they tried to do to Luke Skywalker's character. So, now that we have Darth Plagueis over here as Snoke connecting episodes 1 through 3 with 7 through 9, now that we don't need Emperor Palpatine to come and save the franchise because we have a much better story going already, Rey needed trained in The Last Jedi. None of this 5 seconds and feel the Force and yada yada. Rey needed trained, because if you don't have a trained Rey as a Jedi, the story cannot move forward at all. There's no way possible for you to move forward with the story without Rey in the middle becoming something better and stronger and more knowledgeable both in the Force and in tactics with the blade, with a lightsaber, than what she was in the first one. So when you say episode 7, she was a novice and Luke was helping her, now Luke is going to back off because he's going to train her, and now she's on her own moving into episode 9. That's the way you fix that. She needed trained, and the pieces from The Force Awakens needed connected in The Last Jedi. Moving on. So that has to happen. And finally, at the end, you know, Holdo, you know, they needed more respect. It wasn't just Luke really that got really done dirty in that. Really, I mean, it was Luke, it was Rose, it was Finn, it was Poe. All of them really got. I mean, they really had no story from after The Force Awakens, you know. In The Force Awakens, everybody was good. Obviously, Rose wasn't there, but you get what I'm saying? And they could have given her a much better story than, I mean, keep the SJW crap out of things like Star Wars. Star Wars that George Lucas made, guys, is timeless. It's ageless. You can't look at the movie and say, oh, well, this was such and such a time. It's ageless, and that's what the story should be. When you start cramming in, you know, social justice and you know, politics of the day, and, you know, they didn't say Democrat or Republican, but they were talking, you know, mainly Democrat in today's society. It just ruins the story. It brings us out of the fantasy that we want to be in and brings us right back to Fox News versus CNN, and it's like, you know, nobody wants to get into that. So, but getting into the last part of it there, guys, along with that, going into hyperspace to destroy Star Destroyers, I'm almost out of time. Going into hyperspace to destroy Star Destroyers is a no-go. Okay, hyperspace is, for very quick reference, it was supposed to be going into another dimension, and they just didn't have a way to write them out. All of a sudden, they're worried about fuel. All that stuff needed to be ripped right out of there. There was no reason for any of that. There was no reason to have that. Yeah, so this just, you know, obviously I would have taken that, like I said, that whole thing out. I would have treated Poe Dameron much better, and Admiral Akbar would have most definitely been in Holdo's position. So most definitely, there would have been no reason to take the old Admiral out. So it's a trap, you know. So yeah, guys, that's how I would fix it. I would have made Snoke into Plagueis, and Luke would have been a Grand Master Jedi, and he would have been on Octo because it was strong with the light side of the Force, and he wouldn't have tried to kill his own nephew, you know, the son of his best friend and his own sister. No, that's just no. So, if you like this video, and if you agree, I especially want to hear those who agree, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. By all means, tell me if you agree or what you would add. I would love to hear what you would add as well. And catch me for the next one. I don't know if we'll be doing ministry or if we're doing... I've got a couple different things that need to be addressed on this channel. I've had some questions thrown at me on the ministry side, and I've had some questions thrown at me on the geeking side. So obviously, I will try my best to get back onto all that, as well as doing music on the other channel, Just Pickin' with Jason. So no G in that, Just Pick in IN with Jason. So Just Saying with Jason, Just Pickin' with Jason. By all means, go on that channel as well. And if you like something over there or you want to request something, leave me a message so I can get a hold of it. I try to reply to everybody. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work, but I appreciate all of you. God bless y'all, and see y'all in the next one. Take it easy. May the Force be with you. Bye-bye.